How's it going there, everyone? It's Mr. Zen over here, bringing you guys a brand new One Piece chapter discussion. And for today's segment, folks, I'm going to be talking about chapter 836, guys. And folks, this chapter was utterly amazing because of the fact that you gotta love how Oda's sense of story pacing throughout each and every chapter. He always gives a very well character exposition towards each and every character, including villains themselves. And I love the fact that we're going to get a brand new battle scene on the following chapter, guys. So this chapter was just character development for the villains themselves, guys. Don't get me wrong. I like how we're actually getting slowly introduced with the Big Mom Pirates character development, but we're also getting involved with the even side characters of not only the villains, but the side characters that have Big Mom's pirate crew. So, you know, all aspects of everything, guys, it's all coming together. But in all the silliness and all the dark humor that's being involved in the Big Island, Big Whole Cake Island, you could kind of say, is the fact that we're actually witnessing very important details, guys. Even the smallest piece of paper is very important. And by that, I mean the Viva card themselves, guys. The Viva card themselves in this arc seems to be very important because of the fact that Nami has actually taken the Viva card that she got from Lola, one of Big Mom's daughters, back from Thriller Bark, and that was ages ago. That was years ago, guys. And now we're actually getting it. You know, Nami actually kind of clicks it together in this chapter and says, "You know what? Oh my, you know, WTF, OMG! I can't believe that I actually remembered that this is actually one of the cards that Lola gave me." And it's hilarious the fact that Nami is actually remembering all this and it's coming together. So it's going to be, you could kind of say that the arc is heading into a very different direction as to what people are kind of going through because of the fact that the Viva card themselves, guys, what will Nami do with the Viva cards? That's what I'm kind of focusing on. Well, everything, all the silly humor that's going on, guys, what is Nami going to do? That's what I'm kind of curious. Is Nami going to go after freaking Lola? Is Lola even in the arc itself? Because I know the other, I would say Lola's twin sister is in this arc. Yes, don't get me wrong about that. But we still have yet to see Lola in this arc, guys. That's what I'm kind of curious as to what is going on with in this arc itself. Because the fact that this arc itself, guys, is even showcasing Chopper, Carrot, and all the other side characters out of Luffy's crew. You know, they're not getting that much spotlight themselves. I mean, I'm sure Oda really wants to give these characters more time to develop these characters in this arc. But it's just, I feel like he's kind of rushing into the more important aspects of the arc themselves, guys. And that is basically Lola and Big Mom's pirate crew and the new character. By the way, the giant head that was actually trapped on the ground, guys, his name is actually Pound. Because in this chapter, we actually get to witness his actual name. And that's what I love about this character is because of the fact that he's not really ratting Big Mom out, as you kind of say. He's actually being betrayed by his own family, which is hilarious to the fact that the family is saying that Pound is betraying them, when in reality, Big Mom actually betrayed him a long time ago and kind of threw him on the side. So as to say, as who really betrayed who? I mean, Pound is just doing his own thing now. He's trying to look out for himself. I mean, come on. You guys left him on the curb right there with nothing but just his head sticking out the ground. So Big Mom's pirate crew, they're too self-centered to realize at the actions that what they're doing, that they have so much power in the new world that they don't even care as to who they're dealing with. And that's when the chapter actually starts getting into a very serious tone, and it became battle-oriented because of the fact that Cracker, once he entered the scene, guys, this character, holy snap, guys, Cracker himself is a very powerful opponent, starting at 860 million berries, guys. This character is something to be feared because of the fact that when Cracker came into the scene, guys, you literally see all the homies. All the homies actually are afraid, including Randolph the Rabbit and the Crane, Sururu, if I remember correctly. The Crane and Randolph, they both even fear Cracker himself. And, you know, Randolph seemed like a very powerful homie right there in itself. So it goes on to say, how strong is Cracker himself? Or is Cracker one of the strongest out of the three sweet commanders that they so far introduced? So far, it's only Cracker himself, but, you know, what I'm trying to say is at the fact that is he the strongest of the three sweet commanders? Because Luffy always faces off against the main villain, or you could kind of say the strongest antagonist that he always kind of is being showcased with. you know, and then Sanji faced off against the third strongest, and Zoro facing off against, I would say, the second strongest. And that's how Oda always kind of perceives his story writing, in basically in the fighting styles of everybody that's gonna be introduced in the arc itself. But because the fact that Sanji and Zoro are not really in this arc, or I want to say together, they're not really in this arc together, then we're kind of wondering as to just how strong Cracker is. And that's what kind of we're left in mystery for us viewers, because we don't know how strong Cracker is, and if what kind of attacks Luffy will actually work on Cracker himself. Because the fact that Cracker himself, guys, holy snap, we don't know what kind of devil fruit ability this character has. All we know for sure is that when he knocks on one of the, like, I would say these cracker plates that are on his, like, shoulder, apparently a new arm pops out. And his epithet for Cracker is 1,000 Arms. 1,000 Arms Cracker. So I'm kind of here thinking, for his devil fruit ability, it could be probably the pop fruit. That's what I'm kind of going with, because the fact that with pop, you know, like, the arms just pop out of nowhere. Pop. You know, that's what I'm thinking, like popcorn, you know. Popcorn, you know, once you heat it to a certain degrees, it just pops into something like bigger and better. I'm thinking something along the lines of that, guys. Because of the fact, I mean, come on. He knocks on his shoulder. It could be a pop fruit. I was going to say knock fruit, but that really wouldn't make any sense at all if it was a knock fruit. Or maybe it's just part of a genetically scientific experiment that Big Mom has developed with her own crew. That maybe that's just one of the side effects, or maybe it's an artificial, I would say, devil fruit ability. Maybe it's one of those. Maybe it's one of the smile fruits. We don't know that for sure, but I'm gonna stick to being for Cracker's abilities being with a devil fruit ability. But I'm gonna go with pop fruit. That's the way I see it. It would kind of benefit too, because I mean, if he knocks on something, it would pop, or maybe if it's the clone fruit, it really kind of wouldn't make any sense, because if it was the clone fruit, wouldn't he be able to clone his whole body instead of just an arm? That's what I would think. If it really was the clone fruit for Cracker himself. But I mean, Cracker, I mean, there's still a lot of speculation as to what Cracker's abilities could be, you know, or what he can do. Maybe his devil fruit ability, if he knocks on another person, it'll give him an extra arm, kind of throwing him at a disadvantage. And that itself is a unique fighting style, because the fact that when you have, you know, of course, when you have an extra arm, you would be kind of shocked and astounded at the fact that, like, oh snap, I have an extra arm. I don't know how to work with this angle. So it's a very unique fighting style that Cracker will actually have, and that's what I'm kind of interested in, the fact that for the next chapter, we're gonna be witnessing as to what Cracker's abilities are gonna be, and also with Luffy's character development. Is Luffy actually gonna showcase a brand new ability, guys? Or I would say ability that he didn't really show back in Dressrosa, because of the fact that he was fighting Don Flamingo, so he went all out. And for this character, you know, like I said, Luffy's always developing new fighting techniques every time he fights a brand new villain. So that's why I'm kind of curious as to what Oda is going to give us in these brand new developing story that it's going to be enveloping in these later chapters. And like I said, guys, Oda always gives a surprise for Luffy. Luffy could have not a new gear, or maybe just a new attack, or maybe a new hockey attack that we haven't been introduced yet, guys. Like I said, Luffy's always full of surprises, and that's what I'm always anticipating for every chapter that Luffy's always fighting. And Luffy is very creative when it comes to fighting, guys. Have you seen all of his attacks from the past couple years, especially in the New World Saga? All his attacks are homage to freaking Ace. So I'm just kind of curious if he has another attack that's homage to Ace, or maybe I would say to another past mentor that has trained him too, guys. Like I said, Luffy is always full of surprises. Like I said that. But let's not get carried away with Cracker versus Luffy, guys. I know I talked too much about them, but there is still much speculation on the chapter itself, guys, with the V-Ray card itself, with Nami in itself, guys. I'm personally wondering as to what the V-Ray card itself holds, guys. In this chapter, you know, of course, we're introduced to the V-Ray card system, but who manufactures these V-Ray cards, guys? Who actually manufactures them? That's what I've been always wondering. I mean, somebody has to be making these cards, or this like product. Maybe we're finally gonna be witnessing. Maybe Mom actually distributes these cards, and that's how she makes her own profit by, you know, everybody having the Vivid cards themselves, guys. I mean, come on, this magical tool can't just be a regular item in the One Piece world. Somebody must have manufactured it, and Big Mom probably has done that by placing her ability in these cards themselves. Or maybe I could be just speculating and I'm overthinking it, and it's completely different from what that is. And the Vivid card is just basically just another thing that Oda just kind of put in this story just to be, I would say, just give it more effect as to this item itself, guys. But nonetheless, though, the Vivid card is very important because the fact that Lola is not in the chapter, and we are speculated as to, will Nami actually go towards Big Mom herself? And that's what I'm kind of curious at. That's what I'm still curious. What is Nami going to do in this chapter? How is she going to help out too? I mean, she really can't do anything fighting wise. So what really can she do? Chopper's out, Carrot's gone, Randolph and the Crane aren't really gonna necessarily fight Nami herself, because the fact that the Vivid card kind of I would say it struck fear in the homies themselves. And which, by the way, the dialogue for the homies is hilarious. I love the way that the homies are actually like cursing. They sound like those stereotypical gangsters that you would see out on the street. They're like they're ghetto. It's so hilarious. Like, literally, one of the homies literally shouts out with a minute that Cracker came in on the scene. He literally said, "Oh, Cracker's about to whip a can of whoop ass out there." And you're wondering, like, did one of these characters just say that while you're reading the chapter? You're like I went back and forth, kind of reading that little scene over and over. I'm like, I can't believe they actually said that. It just felt hilarious to me, in my personal opinion. But nonetheless, guys, you know, what do you guys think about this chapter, guys? Like I said, I personally thought this chapter was pretty well in itself, guys. And oh, I can't forget about it as well. Chopper was going to say something to Luffy, but the scene kind of switched itself. So that little scene was very important. I'm wondering what Chopper might have said to Luffy. What did Chopper say to Luffy, guys? That's my question, you guys. What did Chopper say to Luffy? What you guys think about Brulee's powers now that she's actually trapped Chopper, since she can actually keep multiple people in there? Is it like a multi-universe like kind of theory going on there? You know, like, it's because apparently the fact that it's kind of like the character that had the door fruit. You know, it's a multiple universe. That's what I'm kind of thinking that Oda's going along with the mirror fruit, which kind of resembles it too at the same time. Mirror and door. Interesting. But nonetheless, guys, what do you guys think about Cracker's devil fruit ability? I'm personally sticking with the pop fruit. That's what I'm thinking. It just kind of seems like it would be, and it would suit this character. Not a clone fruit. That just feels like too cliche. You know, normally Oda doesn't really kind of go with like naming his devil fruit abilities in a very cliche way. But nonetheless, guys, it's a wonderful chapter. Let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are about this chapter, guys. And if you guys enjoy my content, guys, give a like, comment, share, and subscribe. But this is Mr. Zen, signing out.